Okay, and welcome to the Dasharo roadmap presentation, when I would like to share information with you about the progress of our releases, of our Dasharo releases for various platforms, and what we're planning for the next quarters. First of all, let's start with some disclaimer, like every time. Of course, the problem is that we getting a lot of distractions from various sides. Like we getting more and more work, and some projects, some milestones are delayed. Sometimes we have to do some hot fixes, and so on. And because of that, sometimes this roadmap shifts. So you should not rely on this roadmap to make any commitments or anything that is related to business, because simply like this is just like community roadmap, and maybe it will happen if we will have time, and maybe it will be shifted. And to be honest, I'm already regretting every time I'm doing this presentation how much I have to shift, but that's life. And as I repeat all the time during this presentation, it's idea that coming from Richard Stallman, who was on vPub in the past, and he mentioned that we should do roadmaps and we should just report about those roadmaps. And I guess this is like a kind of form of confession. And like I'm just coming to you, showing the roadmap, and just confess that I didn't succeed. And maybe sometimes in some places I succeeded, and then we can be happy with these small achievements, and maybe have more hope for improvements in further iterations. Always want to give you some overview and have some background for information how to enter the firmware land and how to enter the Dasharo land and open source firmware land. So our vision for all that is that the entry point should be open security training. This is Zino Kova driven project. This project is for open access, open source, self-paced online training, which is related to offensive and defensive security. But in the basics, it is related also to computer architecture, instruction set, explanations, how computers work, and also there are basic trainings made by 3M Dev and made public about core boot and about UEFI. And of course, there was planned to deliver also UEFI secure boot this year, but this will very likely not happen because I didn't have enough time. I was not able to deliver that, but I hope to get back to this topic and at some point deliver UEFI secure boot training, and maybe explain some attacks, explain how to protect against that, explain what's bad about the default implementation and how we should implement correct UEFI secure boot, showing Dasharo as an example. So when you get through that open security training too, you may think, okay, I need my organization or myself, I need something more, or I want to join 3M Dev, and I'm in 3M Dev and would like to learn more. And there is this space which is called PACE Enterprise Training. There is website for that. If you like look for PACE Enterprise Training.com, you will find website which redirects essentially to 3M Dev training sub page, and that's customized instructor-led on-site or remote trainings which we provide, which every organization can buy from us, and of course margins from that and gains from that, like runs coming to pocket of our employees so they can put bread on their tables, and other side going to Dasharo and like making the open source firmware brand stronger. Yeah, I guess someone's making background noise, so I would appreciate if that person would be muted or will mute himself or herself. Okay, thank you.
Muted, yeah.
Thanks. So then we have three parts that coming from PACE Enterprise Training. Let's assume that this was like either individuals or external to 3M Dev organization. So then we have like path of Dasharo community support. And Dasharo community support is exactly this presentation. This is what we do as a part of Dasharo community support. It is firmware development driven by community. It happened on Matrix. It happened on GitHub. Everyone can join. We're looking for the methods to empower the community members. I will talk with Han Etzer today about that. We have some interesting ideas how to move that forward. We have already some partnership agreement with Thierry, but because of various delays, this didn't move forward. But essentially, the agreement is in place. It's just a matter of having time for pushing that forward, delivering some firmware which can work on the benefit of those community contributors. So it is subscription-based binary delivery method or binary delivery mechanism. And subscription in this means is a little bit different, because everyone thinking about the subscription something like which is giving your credit card and it's like a recurring payment. It's not like that. It's just bad naming from our side. It's one-time payment for 12 months, and you're getting credential for pulling the firmware. If you don't like, you're just not paying one for the next year, and you're not getting the updates, and that's it. So it's not like a recurring payment and you will forget and you will be charged next year or something like that. So this is a little bit different mechanism. And by the way, recently I read about Malvat methods and how they get rid of their subscription mechanism. And I guess this would be very interesting also topic about the open source firmware models regarding the Dasharo community support during the vPub. Then second grade is the Dasharo support package. The Dasharo support package is our offer for the OEMs, for our partners, for companies who want us to do the public development of core boot, or public development of UEFI or other components, firmware related components, maybe public validation and all the other stuff, maybe public support for the open source firmware. And this is essentially yearly contract. It can be signed for multiple years to guarantee pricing, but it's kind of big contract with monthly payment, signed for 12 or more months, and it's dedicated for let's say small to medium size organization. For the large organization, like hyperscalers organization, we have third model, which is the Dasharo Enterprise package. And this is we understand this organization got different legal requirements and various complex NDA stuff, and we know how to deal with that. We already dealt with that. We kind of understand this ecosystem, and of course that brings less value to open community, but because of that we expect to get more margin, because since we cannot spend our time on the open ecosystem, we have to commit our time to closed ecosystem in this Dasharo Enterprise package offer. Then we of course would like to have a little bit higher prices, so the margins can go to other development in 3M organization. And that's it. In case of Dasharo community support process, it's exactly the same as I'm talking every quarter. So I will not waste time on explaining that. I guess most important thing that should probably change here is a better alignment of these stages into what really happened in 3M Dev and how we develop this Dasharo releases. Because right now those pieces are kind of enigmatic, kind of like something more like placeholders, and not always are mapping itself correctly to the reality. So this is something that I want to change. I just want you to remember a little bit this color coding. The most important is the porting, because it will happen more often. Of course, validation and the releases, the community releases and the subscriber releases. The community releases are published. The binaries are public. Everything goes to the community. The subscriber releases are going only to the Dasharo Entity subscribers, just to have some value for them, so they can spend this 60 euro or 120 or 180 euro per year or per 2-3 years, and get some value from us, like direct shipping of binaries, direct support, and this kind of stuff. Yeah, I guess that's it for this. And let's start with the roadmaps. I guess the biggest. Okay, let me. Okay. It should be already on 5th slide, but I'm not sure why it's freezing right now. Okay, so emulation roadmap. The emulation roadmap is regarding QEMU. So Dasharo for QEMU. Essentially, this is OVMF. So this is OVMF package inside EDK2. We just compiled that and adding some Dasharo stuff to it. There is some vision behind that, and I will tell you why we're doing that. But Maciej let me know that today we released the version 0.1, and yeah, I'm happy to inform you that we delivered according to the plan. Yes. So so why are we doing this? Why we even like have firmware for QEMU? So there are multiple reasons. First of all, we want to shift left firmware development. So shift left means the strategy of doing things earlier than, for example, hardware is available or some other dependencies are available. So in this case, we can deliver various setup options. We can in future, I believe in QEMU we can mock some stuff. I also have some plans on emulation roadmap to enable something like Intel CMix or AMD SimNow. Despite Intel CMix is more available, I already played with a lot with Intel CMix also back in my Intel days. I like this tool a lot. The key problem of that is are those models, and of course some models are open, not every. I guess the modern processors and the modern stuff is not exactly open. But CMix is very interesting target, and I would like to have Dasharo for CMix at some point, and maybe be able to enable debug, develop some solutions, and maybe thanks to that, some features of Dasharo can be easily and faster ported to new Intel platforms. Same stuff about the AMD SimNow, although SimNow is kind of, I don't know what's the path for getting access to SimNow. I know that OpenSeal developers use SimNow, but how to gain access to that, I don't know. There are some posts, there are some archives of the old SimNow, like 2005 or something, SimNow in the internet, but I guess I'm not sure how usable it would be today. But that's definitely something to consider on the roadmap of emulation. Dasharo emulation roadmap. Also, I think we should, because right now we support just this Dasharo OVMF, so Dasharo UEFI, but I would like to have something more closer to what we ship on MSI, on Nova Custom, on Protecti. I would like to have Dasharo Core Plus UEFI. And kind of my dream, and like my hope and my vision, long-term vision, is to have Dasharo firmware as an option for this XCPNG, Proxmox, or this kind of home lab environments. So people can have better features, maybe some additional security features. I hope at some point Dasharo will have something very unique in comparison to what is in the public. And then, like, hopefully we can bring value to those home labbers and people doing self-hosting. And finally, there is also quite a lot of traction from, for example, from Microsoft. There is German company called Edgeless Systems, which does the confidential VMs related conference. This is the place where I found presentations about people talking exciting things, how to use firmware, open source firmware in the VMs for confidential purposes. That's very interesting, and I think huge opportunity for Dasharo, and Dasharo have to be on this market, and we cannot miss that. So that's why we even pursuing this QEMU stuff. There are also other reasons to enable our own development, and because of that, we have already some features. For example, Maciej shows some results, but let me tell you what kind of features we support right now. Those are basic things, but we hope to extend that. So yeah, we essentially can test boot order, boot options, custom boot menus. We can enter UEFI shell, so we can do various stuff in UEFI shell. We can test, as Maciej said, secure boot stuff, TPM. So there's a lot of stuff that we can test, and it works inside the QEMU. Of course, we can hook like emulated TPM to QEMU and test that. IPXE booting can be tested, and many other things. So that's great about this emulation. There are also some things that does not work because of the underlying hardware does not exist. But on the other side, the boot options are there, and that also brings some value because we can validate if the menus work, if those options switch correctly, and so on and so on. So we don't hit regression on the setup menu side. Okay, so let's go further with the roadmap. There is network appliance roadmap, which is, in my opinion, something which have very high priority for us. And I kind of cannot see that this will not happen in Q1, but various things happened in the past. At this point, we already have good traction for bringing back PC engines. So there is option to deliver a PC engines core boot plus UEFI with UEFI secure boot, with measured boot, with TPM 2.0 support. In essentially two options. First options would be for end customers, for regular users, and second options would be for business. And like this should happen in Q1, if not earlier. The second network appliance roadmap is for Protectly. Yesterday I had kind of long discussion with Trench Boot community about what can be done and what makes sense. I guess this belongs to vPub, but the plan is to have Protectly VB 4670 release, which support Trench Boot DRTM. I don't know what firmware would be there, because yesterday Daniel Smith said that Dasharo Corpus plus UEFI should work there, and internally we have some other kind of considerations. I guess this belongs to vPub. I really would like to have this product much earlier, but it depends on the evaluation, and it may happen that we decide that we will drop this if evaluation will not succeed. In case of laptop, we planned Dasharo Core Boot Plus heads for Q4 2023, but we shifted that because of the delay and hotfixes related to 11 Gen and 12 Gen release series, which I guess 1.7.2 and 1.5.2 will come soon, probably, I guess before Christmas. So yeah, I guess the final version of hotfixes for this series is in preparation right now, and that's why we delayed the heads version. So I guess Wessel will also talk about that in his presentation. But this is very high priority release for us in Q1. If we're talking about the Lenovo, I added Lenovo M920Q, and what we were able to do was verification that this system is Intel BootGuard ready, but verified boot is not enabled. So that's, from one side, it is very good information. From other side, it's not very good information. So from one side, it's very good information because we can do open source firmware development, but we cannot protect this platform, deliver ultimate protection for this platform, which is fusing the Intel BootGuard to our keys. The management engine is not in manufacturing mode, so that means that essentially we will not be able to fuse the keys. It's in normal mode, and we cannot revert that. So we can call this platform Dasharo porting ready. The question is if we will have time and resources to do that. And I guess we should this idea of porting this platform is related with Trenchboot. So I guess we should have like a separate roadmap or presentation or sub-presentation which telling, okay, what hardware we need for Trenchboot, what kind of capabilities it needs, and which boot paths. So is it legacy boot or UEFI boot? What kind of bootloader? And is it Zen or Linux or maybe CubesOS, which is also Zen, but like we can say some distribution. What kind of combination for what hardware will be enabled, and then maybe look what's the biggest interest from community regarding this option, and which paths should be pursued and which path should be our highest priority. Then we have the roadmap, and I really regret to telling that this roadmap is delayed again. I guess we'll delay that every presentation, and this is because I guess other priorities just remove that from our roadmap. I still have hope that in 2024 we can get back to this topic. Those platforms are very cheap, still capable. I still have in my home lab behind my back Dell Optiplex. I would like to have their precision for NAS. I know that Michik got their precision and using their precision with Core Boot. So essentially porting, we can say to some extent is done, but validation is not done. So we don't know how much development should be there. Yeah, I hope we can get back to those and give some value and present some value in our shop. Then probably our most popular option is MSI. For MSI, we plan to release 1.13 this quarter. I guess we are very close. Like essentially, this is code complete. We just have to do validation, and of course, the question is if we'll have enough resources, enough time to do that. 1.20 was shifted, so 1.20 is community release. So essentially, whatever we did in Dasharo entry subscription, like a subscribers only releases, we will release to the public community. For now, it is shifted to Q2. I hope that we will not shift that again. But looking at the number of releases that we have, the question is if we will have enough time to deliver that. And we are always in constantly changing ecosystem. So I don't know if there will be not new priorities to add to those roadmaps. But anyway, no matter if we do the community release or we don't do the community release, everyone can go to the GitHub for all the platforms, download the code, compile the code. Even for MSI, it's very simple because there is a bash script which does it. Of course, there are some dependencies like Docker, for example. But yeah, essentially, some effort for open source is needed. There is nothing for free here.
Yeah, for clever people, they may use the CI pipelines and the artifacts there, but the retention time is like 30 days.
Oh, okay. So I guess, but the problem with the artifacts in CI are kind of, that's the question. Yeah,
there are some like development binaries, so they're supposed to fix some bugs and stuff, and
yeah.
So
you can
some kind of weird intermediate state between a release from the past and the release that is going to come.
Yeah, so we have to play a little balance here between pushing people into the subscription and giving them option for building themselves. And like we're trying to be as ethical as possible, as moral as possible. But on the other side, like I just hope that 60 euro is not a lot yearly. And we really have to sell at least 150 of this subscription to even create one release. So if we did so many releases so far, you can only imagine how much investment it was already. So yeah, I just like, if someone wants to use a free version, it's possible, but we also always encourage to support us. If you cannot support us financially by buying the subscription, you can test, report bugs, be active in community, and that's completely fine. And even if someone will come to us and say, listen, I'm very active in community, you see I'm reporting bugs, I'm trying to help you improve this, improve that, but I don't have money for the subscription, I guess we will manage to do that, and to do some gifts or do some discounts or satisfy those people. Okay, in terms of Z790 and Coreboot Plus heads, which we're planning, I also would like to squeeze that and deliver that faster. This is probably the only roadmap that I shifted left. So this is like the initial plan was for end of Q2, but we had a call with the Plexus, and the Plexus did initial port of heads for that platform. Of course, like it's not ready yet. There is some work needed, but I would like to squeeze this because I see value, and also Jan from NitroKey wants that. So I guess like we will try to manage to deliver that faster than initially planned Q2 2024. This is very interesting target. We don't control here anything. And to be honest, I call it Dasharo desktop AS Rock roadmap, but it's not Dasharo. It's Han Ether roadmap, and even like this roadmap is completely made up because Han Ether doing things in his own pace. There is already a review of this code. There are already some problems on mailing list. There was discussion, and I'm kind of looking for ways to help Han Ether push that platform forward. So the hope is to have AMD AM4 or AM5 platform supported in 2024. But from 3MD perspective and the Dasharo team perspective, first of all, we need some business model for that, and that's critical for us. If we will figure out business model, so some Dasharo supporting partner with Han Ether maybe, or I don't know, like we will see. And by the way, if you are interested about that, today, like 10 p.m. UTC, Han Ether will talk about this platform, and I hope to have with him some longer, better, higher quality discussion, what can really be done, and how 3MD, which have access to certain levels of documentation and code from AMD, could help with this project. Maybe not for this mainboard, maybe for other. ZBlazer always giving very good examples of mainboards. So maybe we'll choose something from his proposal. He's always like those proposals are always very good. But the problem is of course pricing, because we will need multiple hardware setups to move that forward. But let's shift that discussion to the vPub. Then workstation, and I have some like good news for workstation here, like good and bad news. So for Asus KGP D16, I guess this is last time I'm talking about this platform during the roadmap. I plan to drop this because I tried to talk with Unify about the remaining funds and about changing the allocation of the funds, and there is no response from them. I kind of don't have time and energy, and I'm already doing too many projects. Like 3MD does too many projects to go to Free Software Foundation and renegotiate like kind of agreement, like or negotiate agreement how to make KGP 16 supported. I tried to reach Vikings and talk with them about Dasharo, about revenue sharing and all that stuff. There was also no response. So I guess this is dead end for KGP D16, and I will just remove that from the roadmap because nothing's going on here. A lot of people saying, yeah, KGP D16, like I want this. But the problem is like who will deliver the energy, the fuel for that development, and that's not cheap stuff. Like our evaluation are like we probably will need like another 10-20K for doing something with KGP D16 for releasing version 05. yeah, so I don't see it in future. But the very good news in Workstation is that there is planned Raptor computing system Talos 2 release version 0.8, and we plan to do this. Okay, I also made mistake here because it would not be dev release. This will be community release. It will be publicly available binaries. So I definitely made some typo here in my Python scripts generating this diagram. But anyway, this will fix some outstanding bugs which Thierry pointed when verifying the version 0.7, and we have some agreement with Thierry pending. The agreement is blocked by figuring out based on which hash of heads we will integrate things. But when this decision will be made, we plan to do the fixes and do the release 0.8, and hopefully this will be squeezed in Q1. Then if we go to server roadmap, again, this is low priority. I don't want to remove that from the roadmap because we have two hardware instances of that. One is in our lab and one is in my own home lab behind my back. So I really would like to have Dasharo for this hardware. Of course, the problem is that we cannot sell this hardware with Dasharo because simply this is big hardware, like expensive. Keeping that in stock will be problematic for a small company like 3MDev. Shipping that, this is like completely not our business. Shipping server hardware. So most likely we will sell subscription only, which can be deployed remotely. But when we sell subscription, sooner or later, I guess the problem of the BMC will come up, and we would like to have open BMC there. So yeah, so we still wonder how to deal with that and how to implement that. And I guess that's it. And I'm a couple minutes behind the schedule. And if anyone got questions, feel free to ask, because we have 7 minutes left. Okay, Zero Blazer. Not that the market interest for the supermarket is most likely for ECC plus BMC, so it can depend if you don't have another modern alternative. Yes, but so Supermicro already is in the Coreboot, and I guess they will deliver Coreboot solutions themselves. Yes, of course. Like I get your point. Like I get your point that you're fighting us to not distract ourselves with X11 SSH, and just like maybe drop that from roadmap and replace it with something like what you're saying, W680 or something. I also thinking about the Q version chipset. So Daniel, that's good question. So Daniel saying about the embargoes, I don't know, like we still don't have formal security policy, and that's very bad for us, and like that's terrible for us, and definitely this is something that we have to change. But I guess if someone would like to report the vulnerabilities to us, our PGP keys are everywhere and can be easily found. And of course they can, like, we are not someone who's hiding and in that big organization to which you don't know where to send email. So if someone wants to report vulnerability in Dasharo, yeah, we are completely open. And by the way, what doesn't mean Dasharo vulnerability? Dasharo is a glued version of Coreboot and EDK2 in some old version. So essentially, if someone will find bug in our code, this would mean that they probably found bug in core boot in EDK2, some old release of EDK2. And I would not be surprised if there are already some potential vulnerabilities that we don't know about. And if like if someone wants to point to that, I guess like we are pretty much up to date with core boot, but in terms of EDK2, we still working on rebasing ourselves to most recent code. So yeah, we are in progress. I wanted to put on the presentation information about the rebase, about unifying everything in one common Dasharo base, because maybe you don't know that, but we base on various releases of Dasharo based on various versions of core boot and EDK2. So it's not like Dasharo is based always on the same code base. So it's not like that. And of course, that's maintenance problem that we have, and we want to solve that, but it's not easy. Like I even don't know where to find examples of someone doing something similar, dealing with multiple hardware targets, using multiple open source components. I guess maybe XCP-ng got this problem. Maybe some Citrix Zen server got this problem. Something like that. Some project like that. So yeah, we have to learn from those examples. Getting back to Q670, we have 3 minutes left. It doesn't support ECC. It supports TXT, yes, and that's the point. So ECC probably is important for NAS workloads. What other workloads ECC is important for? I don't know, like some serious data passing here and there. But and I guess like ECC helps mitigate row hammer attacks. So for those who want to build very serious security solution, W600 is important, but it's also more expensive and like more unobtainium hardware.
Yeah, but row hammer mitigation is also about the refreshing rate as well. So ECC is just like one way.
Yeah, so why I'm saying so, because it's browser, like it's easy to say, okay, let's take W680, but we look at these mainboards and we found that these mainboards are like, I don't know, just the mainboard costs $350 or something, or $500. So $500 for the mainboard plus modern processor plus memory, and glue to those kind of configuration, and you suddenly have to spend €2,000 just for the hardware. And it's already like just entering that land is something little bit blocking. I know that for some organization €2,000 is nothing, but I will not spend €2,000 on the hardware that I will not use in commercial some commercial solution.